In the previous tutorial, we used RailClone segments as a ForestPack distribution source. In that example, ForestPack randomly assigned geometry from the geometry list to exported RailClone segments. In many situations though, you'll want more control than that. So for this example, we'll create a spotlight rig by combining the two plugins. The goal is to use ForestPack to add lookat controls to the spotlights, allowing them to track a target on stage. The spotlight object comes from the RailClone library. Before using it in ForestPack, we need to extract the geometry so it can be added to a geometry list. Of course, this isn't necessary if you're using geometry that doesn't originate from RailClone. Select the RailClone object and go to Segments Extract All. Two objects will appear in the scene, a spotlight and a bracket. Now we'll enable Export to ForestPack on both segments so that we can use this RailClone object as a scatter source. Create a ForestPack object and add the extracted objects to the geometry list. Rename them Light and Bracket. Now these names are important because we'll use them for matching later. Now switch the ForestPack distribution mode to Reference. Enable Use RailClone Items and add the RailClone object to the Reference Objects list. At this point the setup works, but ForestPack is randomly assigning either a light or a bracket to every exported segment, which isn't quite what we want. We need a way to tell ForestPack exactly which objects belong to which RailClone segment. So we'll return to the RailClone style editor. To avoid rendering duplicate geometry, we'll disable renderable on the corresponding RailClone segments. They'll still be calculated, but only the ForestPack versions will actually be rendered. And we're going to add a tag operator after each segment you want to identify. In the tag operator, type fpgeom equals bracket for the bracket segment, and for the spotlight segment, enter fpgeom equals light. As you can see, the value after fpgeom must exactly match the name of an object in the ForestPack geometry list. Now return to ForestPack and go back to the distribution rollout and enable Match Geometry by Name. ForestPack now reads the tags exported from RailClone and automatically places the correct objects on each segment. At this point, you might be wondering why we went to all this effort. The advantage is that the geometry is now managed by ForestPack, giving us access to some features that RailClone doesn't provide. For example, we can make the spotlights track a target using lookats. To create a target object in the scene, a simple dummy object works perfectly. Open the ForestPack object's camera rollout and find the lookout section. Use the target picker to select the dummy object and enable lookat. The spotlights will now rotate towards the target. However, you'll notice they only rotate around the vertical axis. If the target moves up or down, the lights don't move. To enable full 3-axis tracking, we'll use a forest effect. Open the effects rollout, click on Add Effect, open the effects library, and there's an included effect called 3-axis lookat. In the effect parameters, choose the same dummy object as the target. Now the lights track correctly in all directions. Unfortunately, the brackets are also rotating, which isn't what we want. So a lesser known feature of forest effects is the Apply to Models option. Use the model picker and select only the light object. Enable Apply to Models, and this effect is now applied exclusively to the spotlight geometry. The brackets now only rotate vertically while the spotlights track the target correctly. By combining RailClone and ForestPack, we've created a fully procedural spotlight system where RailClone handles the layout and the placement of the rig, while ForestPack provides advanced behaviors such as lookat constraints. This is a simple example, but this integration gives you access to many other ForestPack features that would not normally be available inside of RailClone. We hope you'll find it useful, and we look forward to seeing what you create with it.